and you are listening to Art Fusion, live from Artisan on Cerrillos Road. This is the Art and Music Radio Show, Saturday at noon, Talk 1260 AM, KTRC, Santa Fe News Talk Leader. I'm Ron Whitmore, and I'm thrilled. We got a great show today. We have visual artist Brad Smith, and we have musician Dr. Hall, who I met at the Songwriter Sunday that we used to hold here the first Sunday of every month at Artisan, and fantastic musician, and welcome, guys.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Dr. Hall, why don't you start us out with something? Why don't you tell a little bit about this song and lead us into something?
This is kind of a sad song. This is a true song. And, a lot of my songs are based on true things, so things in my life or maybe in someone else's friend. So this is a song of loss and a song of redemption. 3 angels looking over me. 3 angels helping me to see. I can't go back to where I've been. I lost 3 souls in this old life, and they're waiting for me. It's hard today. Troubles on my mind. Work is hard, times are tough. My life is in a bind. I've seen hard times before. No, I've seen my share. I got a pain down deep inside, one that I can't bear. 3 angels looking over me. 3 angels helping me to see. I can't go back to where I've been. I lost 3 souls in this old life, and they're waiting for me. I miss you so. It's been hard to know what could have been. It was your time to go. I come to know it still hurts me so, and the tears remain. Tears remain. Further down the road today, time is come and gone. My family have grown up strong, children of their own. I'm thankful for the gifts of life, family and friends. 3 angels have made me strong, now I'm moving on. 3 angels looking over me. 3 angels helping me to see. I can't go back to where I've been. 3 angels have made me strong, and I'm moving on. 3 angels have made me strong, and I'm moving on. I'm moving on, moving on, growing strong.
Wow.
Very good. Thank you.
So that is from the reality?
Yes, it is.
That's real, okay.
It's a real story, a painful story. I wrote that song, and it took me 3 years to sing that song in public.
Yeah, I understand that. You can tell that's from the heart, and that really hits this week because We actually lost two ex-Artisan employees this week. David Solomon passed on, who used to run the Bang Gallery down on Canyon Road. Then we got word James Mahan, who used to be, he worked here as a sales clerk for years, and then he was a greeter. We got news yesterday that he passed on, and then we lost Bonnie Hearn. Bill and Bonnie, Bonnie passed on, and they actually played at my wedding. So we've lost a musician and two great artists this week. So three angels.
Three Angels. Yeah. Actually, the first time I played that was Alicia Carmen's place.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But that's when I discovered it was too early to play that song.
Yeah. No, I totally understand that. And we have Lisa Carmen on the show next week. Just happened to be. So, Brad, welcome. We're talking with Brad Smith, visual artist. We have Dr. Hall as a musician, just did a beautiful song. Brad, welcome.
Oh, thank you.
Let's explore a little bit about your history.
Okay.
Because I've known you, we were just talking about it. You moved to Santa Fe 1980?
90.
90, okay. And I moved in 88, so, and I've been an artisan at 88, and you opened up a gallery right across from the parking lot.
Yeah, I did.
Was that your first gallery on
It was
Canyon
my
Road?
first gallery, and I remember I was so excited about it, and I came into Arson's, and one of the guys said, "You know that place is jinxed."
Who said that?
I think it was John.
Oh, okay, well, that's John's general anyway.
I was like, okay, fine.
Well, I want to go back before your gallery career, because I know you had, this is, the whole vision for Art Fusion was how similar it is, whether you choose to be a musician or you choose to be a visual artist, is basically a lot of it allowing, creativity of the brain works on the same pathway, and you kind of make that decision, and you were a professional musician, so I'd like to explore, can you tell us a little bit about that?
Well, I started out as a musician and started playing professionally when I was about 13.
Okay, drums.
Drums. And I did paint and draw at that time. But where I'm from, in East Texas, nobody could imagine that you could make a living or any kind of income with art. But you could play in a band and you could,
You could do all right.
you could do all right. So I did what I needed to do to pay the bills at that time. But I always had a love for art, even then. I just didn't know that was a possibility.
Well, I read something on your website that you were drawing, you drew a turkey in preschool or something and won a contest. Or...
Yeah, I was always pretty good at the little school contests, so. But still didn't have any idea that was any kind of a career option.
Where in East Texas? What town? I'm just
I
curious.
grew up in Athens, Texas.
Athens, okay. And then, can you talk a little bit about your professional career in music? So you were a drummer, did you join a band, or how?
I was in a lot of bands. At that time, you probably know about this, you had to play in a lot of bands. I played in a country band, or a jazz band, or a wedding band, or a funk band, or just whatever I had to do to keep working in my chosen field. And I did that until I was, I'd say in my early 20s, I started doing session work and doing recordings for different people. And
So you moved more out of the live
I
performance?
was doing both.
You're doing both. So
I
this
do-
is like, you were making a living doing this.
Yeah,
This
I
is
would
what you're
do
doing.
sessions during the daytime, and then at night I'd go and play a gig at night. And at that time, that's when we were talking about Dave. I was doing mostly jingle work and film score recording sessions. And so when I started doing that, then I played a wider range of types of music, anything from symphony to jazz or funk or whatever I had to do to make that session work.
This was in Dallas?
This is in Dallas.
Okay. And then when did the switchover come? What was there, did you have an enlightening moment, a realization, or what, get struck by something, or just decided burned out from music, or what made the switch over to visual art?
Well, I lived in Nashville for 10 years, and I was playing music there. And I was working with a lot of different artists and doing recording sessions. And I was working with one artist and doing some touring, and I was getting a little old for that.
Gotcha. I want you to hold that thought. You're listening to Art Fusion, the art music radio show, Saturday at noon, Talk 1260 AM, KTRC, Santa Fe News Talk Leader. We're talking with artist Brad Smith And Dr. Hall is our musician. We're going to be right back. Hang on. And we are back. You are listening to Art Fusion, the art music radio show, Saturday at noon, Talk 1260 AM, KTRC, Santa Fe News Talk Leader. I'm Ron Whitmore, and I just want to mention that we are recording this live right in the front of Artisan, which is the art supply store on Cerritos Road. We're not dubbing this over. There's no retakes. There's no changing Dr. Hall's voice. This is all just live music, which is the way I prefer it. You know, this is the real stuff. And I'd love to get another song, Dr. Hall. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're going to do?
Yeah, this is a little song called A Home for Everyone. And I wrote this about my grandmother and then my dad. And it was a story, you know, they moved from North Carolina out to Idaho and homesteaded some land out there. And my grandmother lost her life in childbirth.
Oh,
and
no.
unfortunately, it was a case where after that, my grandfather was forced to make a tough decision. Is that you keep the whole family together or not? And back in those days, it was more common to not.
Wow.
So that's what this is for.
Man, you write from the heart.
This is a real true blues tune. Old man, what you gonna do? Two strong boys and four little children, all depending on you. Take to the mountain, run to the plain, wherever you go, it's still the same. Old man, think before you go. This great day will in time, you can never know, you can never know. Back in Carolina, Halls, Mills, and family, wild green mountainside, the rivers and the trees, the graves of kin, stills and friends, promise of the West, better life than young man's dreams. Hard to know what's best, hard to know what's best. Great winter's morning, a baby is born. Happened without warning, now the woman's gone. She was a strong woman, traveled across the land, brought 6 children in this old world. 7 was much to stand, oh Lord, 7 was too much to stand. Boys stand together, they can make it on their own. But one of the other 4 that don't have a home. Think of children, all the people say. The house, the home you can't provide. Maybe another day, oh Lord, maybe another day. "60 years are come and gone, the old man passed away. One of the sons he left behind, one of the sons today. Who is a lucky man, one's a stayed or gone. What is the price they left behind? What is the price today, oh Lord? What is the price today? Go back to where you're from. Your family's waiting, wondering where you're gone. Go back to where you're from. Your family's waiting, wondering where you're gone. Wondering where you're gone.
Woo! Dr. Hall.
Thank you very much.
We were talking with Brad Smith. We're going to get back. Dr. Hall's going to play some more music later on. We were speaking with Brad, and Brad was telling us how he grew up in East Texas, how he was drawing at a very young age, preschool, doing his art back then, but also drumming. Started pursuing professional drumming, Dallas sessions, and we left off in Nashville. Let's talk briefly. So you went to Nashville. That's like the heart of music, and what were you doing there?
Okay, we're going to keep it brief about the Nashville.
Okay.
I went out there and played a lot of music for about 10 years, but that's what brought me here to Santa Fe.
And then you got here, and you moved to Santa Fe, and you decided you were going to be a visual artist. You've always been a visual artist. Were you doing art back then?
When I moved here to Santa Fe, my paradigm got adjusted.
Okay.
Because I saw what other artists could do here.
Okay.
And
other visual artists.
yes.
Okay.
And I was old enough at that time to realize that Santa Fe was being really good to me, and so I just stayed here. I started out at William Vincent's gallery. It was the first gallery I showed him. Did you know him?
I knew William Vincent very well. Yeah.
And I was there for very briefly, and they kicked me out because I didn't sell any artwork.
Shame on you.
And then I started showing in some other major galleries and did a little bit better. Did that for about 6 years, and then I opened my own gallery in 2006.
Was the gallery in 2006 the gallery across from
Yeah.
the old Artisan?
Yeah, that was right next to you.
Okay,
And
let's
I
tell
just
that
walked-
story because that's kind of a funny story.
Oh, okay. Well, I was real excited about that space, and I came in the gallery and was telling one of the employees I was going to rent that space, and he just said, "Well, you know that place is jinxed.
Yeah.
Nothing has ever worked there."
But you made it work.
Yeah, I did
Because to be really honest, I remember there were a lot of people that came in and out of that space before you. You were like the longest tenant in that space and made it work because it was not right on Canyon Road. You had to go back in the parking lot, and it was kind of hidden a little bit.
I did find there, and then a space opened up right on the road, and I took that space, and that was still right next to Artisan. It was just right across the street.
I remember. You've had several locations now. Why don't you say where you are?
I'm in my 4th location now.
4th location on Canyon Road.
On Canyon Road.
Okay. And you're right north of El Farol now.
Yeah, I'm next between El Farol and the Tea House. I'm at 812 Canyon. And that's my favorite place I've been in.
This has been your best space so far. What do you like about it?
It's aesthetically the most pleasing space that I've been in. And I'm surrounded by the restaurant, so I'm getting the most traffic too.
Okay.
So I really like it.
Let's get into your art a little bit because did you take art lessons? How did you learn to paint like you do?
Not really. I took a couple of workshops, but I just kind of had a sensibility about what I wanted to paint. And you know, we have access to so much information these days that if you want to learn how to do something, you can do it. And that's how you do it in music too. You emulate other artists that you love or that think are great. And I just kind of did that with artwork too.
And always in oils? You were always drawn to oils?
No, I paint in acrylic or oil or watercolor.
You'll do anything?
Yeah, I'm comfortable in any medium.
And your art has seemed to have changed lately. I mean, you're known primarily for beautiful women and flower scenes and beach scenes. And has your art switched over a little bit? You
know, in the 80s, I did show in some galleries in Dallas, and I did all abstract.
We're going to explore that in just a minute. This is Art Fusion, the art music radio show, Saturday at noon, Talk 1260 AM, KTRC, Santa Fe News Talk Leader. We're talking with Brad Smith. We're going to have more music with Dr. Hall. We'll be right back. Hang on. We are back. You are listening to Art Fusion, the art and music radio show, Saturday at noon, Talk 1260 AM, KTRC, Santa Fe News Talk Leader. I'm Ron Whitmore. We just heard two great songs by Dr. Hall, who's going to play again in just a little while. But we're talking with Brad Smith, and Brad, just for those of you just joining us, Brad he grew up in East Texas. He was always drawing, doing art back then, but became a professional drummer. Drummed in many bands back then, went on to Dallas and did a lot of jingle work, went on to Nashville, played a lot. Then he opened up his galleries on Canyon Road, and he's had several galleries. We're starting to explore more about his painting style, and I guess the one thing, Brad, that really has struck me about you, I mean, when you're a drummer or you're playing with rhythm and you're playing, you play by instinct a lot. And I think instinct really has entered in your painting because you can really feel, like with Dr. Hall, he's played two very personal songs, but your paintings also, they're from the heart. I mean, your paintings, the vibration of light or whatever that you're perceiving or you're getting through your paintings, you can feel. I mean, I believe. Can you explain your process a little bit?
You know, I don't really have a process. I just kind of like to improvise what I feel is going to work.
Okay.
I don't have a set formula or procedure that I do, and that's a lot how I play drums on recording sessions too. I would improvise and try to make something creative that would fit that person's song, or just try to be open to being creative.
Uh-huh.
And that's how I approach art. I try to let the artwork dictate what's going to happen. I don't want to have some preconceived idea. You know, I just try to let the paintings come to life, and I'm open to that. So I think a lot of times people see that in my work.
Well, you feel it in your work. And let's talk about like your paintings of women. You did a lot of beautiful paintings of women for years. Were you using models? What was your process of doing a painting?
Well, I didn't really. A lot of times I'd work from my imagination, or from a photograph, or from a model, or from a sketch, or all of the above. And when I first started painting here in Santa Fe, that's what the galleries wanted. They would say, Brad, I want 10 more paintings of women.
Okay.
So a lot of times people thought that's all I could paint.
Because that's what was selling in the galleries?
Well, that's what would sell, but that's what the galleries thought would sell, or that's
Okay.
what they wanted. I would bring them something a little different, and they'd say, no, you don't paint that, that won't sell. Well, I did that for 6 years, and then when I got my own gallery, I realized that everything I wanted to paint would sell. So now when you come in, there's a lot wider variety or a wider range of what I paint. It all does work.
And you're in a fine balancing act of also, I mean, you represent other artists in your gallery, and you're also a business person, because there's all different elements. You know, when you run a gallery, I mean, as an owner, which you've done 4 different galleries on Canyon Road, how do you switch that part of your brain, or tell me about your day? How do you run both the business part of being a gallery owner and also being an artist in the gallery?
Well, the painting is easy for me. When I
Okay.
have to do the gallery owner part, that's difficult and challenging. But I just try to keep it simple and very basic, and so that's how I do it.
Okay, tell me your average day. What time you get up? What do you do?
Well, usually I get there anywhere from 8 to 10 in the morning, and if I have some commissions or artwork I need to get done, I'll work on that. I won't turn on the computer, I won't look at the phone or anything, and I'll get what I need to get done artistically done first. Then I'll turn on the computer and return emails, or
Then you do the business part.
do the business part, take care of shipping issues or whatever I need to do as far as the business goes.
And looking from the outside, I've seen the hours that you work and the days you were open for Christmas Eve walk. You work long and hard.
Every day.
Yeah, I know.
I'm
And
open
you-
every day.
And you never really take breaks. I
Okay,
mean, I
yeah.
remember you used to take, I don't know where you were going, but you used to take these long breaks, but you really work hard at your business.
Yeah.
Is this is because it's what you love? I mean, I read on your website there was a destiny. You felt you were destined to own a gallery and be an artist in Santa Fe.
Yeah. Well, it just takes that much energy to make it work. There's no easy way to make the gallery work. It just, you have to put that much in to get it to.
Well, you've obviously made it work because there's not a lot of artist-owned galleries. I mean, Debbie Gold does it. There's a few on Canyon Road, but you are. That's what Canyon Road was originally based on.
Yeah.
It was all artist-owned galleries, and you're one of the few that have made a success as an artist-owned gallery and continue to make a success at it. So, any words of wisdom how you do that?
It's just a lot of hard work. You just have to be willing
You
to
never
go
get
there
a
every
vacation,
day.
and you work incredible hours.
You just,
Okay.
you know, in the summer I am open a lot of times, or I'm there from 8 in the morning till 8 or 9 at night. And it just takes that much time and energy, and I think if you really love what you're doing, you can maintain that. If you don't, you're just gonna burn out.
Well, thank you so much, Brad, for sharing. You're still going to stay here, but I'm going to kind of switch over. And I really suggest that people take a look at bradsmith.com. That is your website, right? And
Brad
check
Smith Gallery.
bradsmithgallery.com and take a look at his work and take a look at what he's been doing and the other artists in there. Dr. Hall, I've met you just a couple times or once at Songwriter Sunday. I know so little about you. How did you get into music and doing what you're doing?
Well, I'm originally from Idaho, and I had the opportunity to get into music when I was a teenager, like 13 years old. It was a kind of a funny story because I was in athletics prior to that. I had a trip to the hospital where I found out I could no longer participate in the football, basketball, things that I did.
Okay.
And so I picked up the bass. Actually, my brother played guitar, so I thought, well, I'll play the bass. So I started playing bass, learned a little bit, and when I was 14, I was already playing with professional bands in the area.
Wow.
Which drove my mom crazy because I was playing in bars and
Playing late night at 14, that's
all
not
that,
really...
all that stuff. I looked like I was 21, which exacerbated the whole problem.
Uh-huh.
But anyway, I picked up an agent at 16. I was fortunate to get some jobs playing with some people in Idaho.
You picked up a music agent?
A music agent
Wow.
at 16, and he
Incredible.
hooked me up with some bands that had that were at professional recording quality, and had hits, national hits, and I played with them till I got out of high school. And then he hooked me up on the road, and I worked on the road as you did, as a backup musician playing bass.
So you were touring with the band, or?
Touring with the band, traveling 50 weeks out of the year.
Oh my gosh.
And so, but it was a little different story. It wasn't one night stands. It was clubs and things. We might be in the same club for 2 weeks,
Okay.
which is a pretty sweet deal compared to what it is now.
Yeah, you can leave your equipment set up, you're not breaking it down
That's
every
right.
night.
That's
So-
right. And I did that for many years. Got married, and when my oldest child got old enough to go to school, then I quit traveling and had to find a real job.
Okay, is that where the doctor part entered into?
The
What's the doctor part?
The doctor part. I have a PhD in education.
Okay.
And I transferred down here with my employer in 1992, so I've been in New Mexico since 1992. And I picked that UNM, I put the degree at UNM and taught at UNM for a period of time.
Okay, are you still teaching?
I'm teaching, yes I am.
Okay, teaching, you're in Los Alamos
I'm
now?
in Los Alamos, actually teaching up in Los Alamos County.
Okay,
So I'm doing music, I never quit playing music, but I quit performing music. And I got into songwriting about 13 years ago,
Uh-huh.
and found a passion in songwriting because when you're a session musician or playing, you're playing other people's music, you're trying to make them sound as good as possible.
Yeah.
When you write your own music, it's a different ballgame, and I found I really enjoy that.
and so now you're kind of getting back in, I've heard rumor that you're kind of getting back into looking into playing in a band again, or?
Well, putting a band
Putting a
together.
band
And
together.
I've been doing some stuff in Santa Fe and Albuquerque where I've been playing with some bands, playing guitar, playing bass. But, a friend of mine, Judy Price, and I are putting together a band, a little duo, that we're going to expand as necessary and do our own original music and some covers as well.
And we were talking about that earlier because Julie and I actually took singing classes from Lisa Carmen, who's going to be on next week.
Yeah.
And so we were classmates. So,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, this is definitely a small town with artists and musicians.
It is.
So
Yeah, I did a little gig with Julie in Swing West here a couple weeks ago at the Cowgirl, and we just enjoyed working together, so we decided to continue.
nice. We're going to explore more of that. We're with Dr. Hall and Brad Smith. Dr. Hall's going to play some more music. You're listening to Art Fusion, the art music radio show, Saturday at noon. Talk 1260 AM KTRC Santa Fe News Talk Leader. Hang on, we got one more session. And we are back. You are listening to Art Fusion, the art music radio show, Saturday at noon, Talk 1260 AM KTRC, Santa Fe News Talk Leader. I'm Ron Whitmore. We're with musician Dr. Hall, and we were talking with artist Brad Smith. And Brad, I just got one last question. You definitely are painting from instinct. What would you recommend? There's so many artists that come in, and you're a gallery owner, that say, how do I make a living at art? You're on both ends. You're making a good living at your art as a painter, but you're also a gallery owner. How, if someone came into you, and how do they, not that we want anybody coming in you and presenting their artwork, but how, what does it take to make it as an artist, in your opinion?
Well, I think one of the most important things you can do is be around other artists and gallery owners that are successful, so you can see how they do it.
Okay.
And that's
model a successful formula, what they're doing.
Someone that you could mentor with or study with. I think being here in Santa Fe and in the art scene here has made it possible for me to do what I'm doing. So that's what I would recommend to someone. You need to be in a really healthy art scene.
And you found the gallery space that's working the best for you right now. You're
Yes.
in a good place with your art. Has the internet changed anything for you?
Not really for me.
Okay.
I know it has for a lot of different artists, and it's a big important part of what they do. For me, I have a following that goes back nearly 20 years,
Okay.
and I think the internet does help me, but it's not as important to me as I think it would be to a new artist trying to start and establish themselves.
Got it. Well, thank you so much,
Thank
Brad,
you, too.
for coming on the
It's
show.
been a pleasure to be here.
Just want to make a couple announcements. One announcement, we're talking about David Solomon, who is an ex-artisan employee, but also he started the Bang Gallery years ago and has worked as a curator and a gallery owner in Santa Fe for a long time. A lot of people know David Solomon. There's going to be a memorial December 30th, Saturday, at Phil Space on 2nd Street, 5 to 10 p.m. And at 7 p.m., it's going to be a celebration of David's life. So everybody is welcome, everybody that knew David Solomon. Next week, we're going to have artists Michael Burt and Lisa Carmen. And Lisa Carmen has touched so many people with her musical skills and how she gives so much with voice and music instruction in this town. We're just excited to have them. We're going to turn back to Dr. Hall, and we were talking about your career, and I'm just curious. In Los Alamos now, you're teaching part-time, you're exploring with a band, but you've also come out with a CD. Talk about your CD a little bit.
I came out with a CD I recorded in Sacramento, California 2 years ago.
Okay.
And
You've
I brought a copy for you, Ron.
Thank you.
It's
You've
called
got to give a little.
Got to Give a Little. And I wrote all these songs. This is my first CD that I kind of did everything from producing to mastering, mixing, and recording, and brought some great musicians in to teach, to record with this. But it kind of ignited a passion for me for recording, you know. And so now for music, for me, it's all about writing.
Uh-huh.
And the recording gives a great opportunity to kind of, and I'm looking right at your picture and think about different textures you can do in the recording studio.
Have you ever tried any art?
I haven't.
Okay.
I'm still struggling with music. But I really had a great time doing that. That's been 2 years ago. Got 2 more on the way.
Oh, you're working on two
Got
more
2
CDs?
more. I started a little music publishing company called Smoky Mountain Music. And actually, Julie Price and I just got an EP on the way.
Okay.
So we're looking forward to that. And that's kind of my main emphasis right now.
Is your new CDs coming out?
Mm-hmm.
Just curious, on your writing process, songwriters all have their own different way of attacking it. Like I keep a journal in my truck if something comes along, but then I have to sit down at the piano and I have to be in the mood and to do it. What is your songwriting? Do you do the lyrics? Do you do a tune? Do you get a riff? Do you get an idea?
So about 80% of the time it starts with lyrics. And sometimes those lyrics end up with no song and they end up more of a poem kind of thing.
I'm the same way.
Yeah, but it's really interesting. But some of them will start with a riff, you know. But
You get a guitar riff and
get a
then there's
guitar
something
riff.
that just fits in there or falls into
It does, yeah, and it's kind of interesting. I kind of find the words, but I found the majority of the time it really starts with the words, you know, and then
Okay.
it goes into the from there.
And these new CDs, are you working in a studio? Or
So I have a studio, it's part of our.
Oh, you have a recording studio.
I have a recording studio, and that's one of the things I set up with this. So it makes it nice because you can have unlimited time. You don't have to worry about the clock ticking on studio time.
Are you recording other people in this studio too?
Julie will be the first. Yeah, Julie will be the first. And I hadn't really thought so much about that, but now we're working together. When we do our EP, then she will be the first.
Okay.
But there's some great studios in town, so I want to be careful about.
Oh, no, there's a lot of great studios. Yeah, we had Bill Palmer from Frogville
Oh, yeah.
here, which is a great studio, and there's no shortage of places to record in Santa Fe.
Yeah, there's not, but it's a really gratifying process. It really is. I've enjoyed it tremendously.
Well, I really enjoy your music. It's very apparent that you're writing and playing from the heart. You can tell when a musician does that. And I'd like to have a last song to take us out.
I got one. And this is called New Shoes. It's all about changes.
New Shoes. Okay.
Got up today, found a better way. Got a solution. Feel free to beat on some there if you like. Percussion. Got some new shoes today, new shoes today. Old ones worn, done, faded away. New shoes today. Old ones worn, done, faded away. But it's right the other day, not the way I want to stay. Got some new shoes. Well, it seemed like only yesterday my life was moving in a different way. It seemed like only yesterday my life was moving in the wrong way. Well, felt so right not long ago, not the way you want to go. Got some shoes. Need some new shoes. Things don't fit like they used to. Don't know where you're going. Going back to where you've been. You know right now how it's gonna end. Well, felt so right the other day, not the place you want to stay. Got some new shoes. Got some new shoes. Got some new shoes. Got some new shoes.
You are listening to Art Fusion, the art music radio show, Saturday at noon, Talk 1260 AM, KTRC, Santa Fe News Talk Leader. Thank you, Brad Smith. Thank you, Dr. Hall. See you next week.